My name is Vivian Calloway, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had a pretty good life. I'm 52 years old. I live in Westchester, New York, in a 4-bedroom colonial with blue shutters and a garden I've tended for 15 years. I have one daughter, Sophie, who's 23 and working her first real job in Boston. I've been married to my husband Mark for 18 years, together for 23 if you count the dating years. I used to be a graphic designer before Sophie was born. Had my own little freelance business, decent clients, work I was proud of. But when she came along, Mark and I decided it made more sense for me to stay home. His career was taking off at the consulting firm, and daycare costs were insane. So I set aside my work, my ambitions, my identity, really, and I became a full-time mom. Then a part-time bookkeeper for Mark's small investments. Then just his wife. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand, I was normal. I was you. I was every woman who ever made compromises for her family and told herself it was worth it. Every woman who looked in the mirror at 50 and wondered where the 25-year-old with dreams went. I thought I knew who I was. I thought I knew my marriage, and then one Tuesday morning in September, standing in the Delta terminal at JFK Airport, my entire world exploded. The fluorescent lights felt like they were burning straight through my skull. I'd been standing at the customer service desk for 20 minutes. My phone clutched so tight my knuckles had gone white, while the agent clicked through screens with that practiced, apologetic face they all have when they're about to deliver bad news. "Mrs. Calloway, I'm showing that your husband did check in this morning for the Houston flight," she said, her voice soft like she was talking to someone fragile. "Maybe I was. But I'm not seeing your name on the manifest." I laughed. Actually laughed. "That's impossible. Mark told me last night we were both going. His company retreat. Spouses invited. He showed me the itinerary." She clicked again. Paused. Her expression changed to something I couldn't quite read. Pity, maybe. Or discomfort. "Ma'am, Mr. Calloway did book 2 tickets for this flight." Another pause. "But the second passenger is listed as Natalie Simmons." The terminal noise, the rolling suitcases, the gate announcements, the crying baby 3 rows over, all of it faded into this dull, underwater silence. Natalie Simmons. I knew that name. Mark's assistant. 27 years old, fresh out of grad school, always wearing those tight pencil skirts and sending him texts at 9 p.m. about urgent client matters. When? My voice didn't sound like mine. When did he book them? 3 weeks ago, Mrs. Calloway. 3 weeks. The same night we'd celebrated our 18th anniversary at Romano's, where he'd held my hand across the table and told me I was still the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. The same week I'd been planning to tell him about the lump my doctor found. The one I was too scared to face alone. I was 52 years old, Vivian Calloway, mother and wife, and I'd just become every cliché I'd ever pitted. I didn't call him. Didn't scream or throw things or make a scene in the airport like you see in movies. I drove home to our house, the one with the mortgage we'd refinanced twice to put Sophie through Vanderbilt, and I sat in the driveway for 40 minutes. Watching the sprinklers Mark had installed last summer spray water across the lawn we'd landscaped together. My phone buzzed. A text from him, landed safely. "Hotel's nice. Miss you already. Love you, babe. He'd called me that since 1995, when we were 25 and stupid and thought love was enough to survive anything. Before kids and careers and the slow, quiet erosion of becoming strangers who shared a bed. I texted back, "Miss you too." Then I called my sister, Joanna. "He's cheating on me," I said when she picked up. No hello. No preamble. "What? Vivian, what are you talking about?" Vivian. My mother had named me after some actress from a black and white film she'd seen once. I'd always hated it, the way it sounded too elegant for a girl who grew up in a split level in New Jersey with stained carpet and parents who fought about money every Sunday after church. I told Joe everything. The tickets. Natalie. The lies. "Oh my God, Viv. I'm so sorry." Her voice cracked. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," I said. And I didn't. But sitting there in my car, watching the sun set behind the house I'd spent 18 years turning into a home, something cold and clear settled in my chest. I wasn't going to cry. Not yet. I was going to think. Mark came back 3 days later with a tan and a guilty smile and a snow globe from the Houston airport gift shop. Inside was a tiny plastic armadillo. I set it on the kitchen counter and made him coffee. "How was the retreat?" I asked. "Boring. PowerPoint presentations and team-building exercises." He kissed my forehead. "I'm glad to be home." I smiled. I bet. He didn't notice the edge in my voice. Or maybe he did and chose to ignore it, the way he'd been ignoring things for years. The way I'd stopped initiating sex. The way he'd stopped asking about my day. The way we'd become 2 people performing the choreography of a marriage without the music. That night, after he fell asleep, I went through his phone. I know Every advice column tells you not to. Every therapist says it's a violation of trust. But he'd already violated mine, and I needed to know how deep the betrayal went. The texts with Natalie went back 8 months. Nothing explicitly sexual, he was too smart for that, but the tone was intimate in a way that made my stomach clench. Inside jokes. Complaints about his stressful home life. Plans to grab drinks after the client meeting. And then I found it. A text from 2 months ago, "Can't wait for Houston. Finally get you all to myself." Her response, "I've been counting down the days." I put the phone back on his nightstand and went downstairs. Made chamomile tea I didn't drink. Stared at the family photos on the mantle, our wedding day, Sophie's graduation, last year's Christmas card where we all wore matching red sweaters and smiled like we meant it. I'd given this man everything. My 20s, my career ambitions, my body through pregnancy and age. I'd supported him through 2 layoffs and his father's death and the years when his drinking got bad and we almost lost the house. I'd been the good wife, the patient wife. The wife who understood that sometimes marriages go through rough patches, and he'd thanked me by booking a hotel room with a woman young enough to be our daughter. The plan came to me at 3 a.m. The way the best revenge always does. I knew Mark's patterns. Every month, he got a detailed statement from his brokerage account, the one his father had left him, the one worth about $400,000 that he thought I didn't pay attention to. I'd been the family bookkeeper for 15 years, had access to every password, every account, every secret financial corner of our life. He thought I was too trusting to look. Too grateful to question. He was wrong. On Monday, while he was at work, or with Natalie, who knew any more, I made an appointment with Lauren Cho, the best divorce attorney in the county. She had a corner office with leather chairs and abstract art that probably cost more than my car. "I want to be smart about this," I told her. "Not emotional. Smart." Lauren leaned forward. She was maybe 40, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense haircut. "Tell me everything." I did. The affair. The lies. The financial details. Sophie, who was 23 and working her first real job in Boston. The house. The retirement accounts. The life insurance policies. "New York is an equitable distribution state," Lauren said. "Not necessarily 50-50, but fair based on contributions to the marriage. You've been married 18 years. You left your career to raise your daughter. You have a strong case." "I don't want strong," I said. "I want airtight." She smiled. "Then we'll make it airtight." I filed 3 weeks later. Had Mark served at his office, in front of Natalie and his boss and everyone who'd eaten lunch with us at the company picnics. Who'd smiled at me like I was part of the team. He came home that night white-faced and shaking. "Vivian, what the hell is this?" I was making chicken piccata, his favorite. The kitchen smelled like lemon and garlic and the end of everything we'd built. "Divorce papers," I said calmly. "I'm sure you can read." "Over what? What did I do?" I turned off the stove. Set down the spatula. Looked at him, really looked at him, and saw a stranger wearing my husband's face. "Houston," I said. "Natalie Simmons. 2 tickets. Should I go on?" The color drained from his face. "Viv, I can explain, don't." My voice was steel. "Don't insult me by pretending this is something other than what it is." He tried. God, he tried. The excuses came tumbling out. It meant nothing, it was a mistake, he loved me, he'd end it, we could go to counseling, we could fix this. The same script every cheating husband has used since the dawn of time. I listened to it all with my arms crossed, watching him unravel. "I already talked to a lawyer," I said when he finally ran out of words. "I know about the brokerage account. The one you thought was just yours because your father left it to you. In New York, inheritance becomes marital property if it's commingled, and you've been using it to pay our mortgage for 3 years. His mouth opened, closed. "I know about the bonus you got last year that you said was smaller than it was. I know about the credit card you opened in your name only. I know everything, Mark. I've always known everything. I just chose to trust you anyway." "Vivian, I'm 52 years old," I said. "I've been your wife for 18 years. I gave up my career in graphic design to raise Sophie. I supported you through everything. And you thanked me by sleeping with a 27-year-old and lying to my face." Tears were running down his cheeks now. "I'm sorry. God, Viv, I'm so sorry." "I know you are." I picked up my purse. "I'm staying at Joe's tonight. My lawyer will be in touch about the settlement." "What settlement?" I smiled. It felt like ice. "The one where I get half of everything. The house, the retirement accounts, the brokerage account, all of it. And you get to explain to Sophie why her father destroyed her parents' marriage for an affair." "You wouldn't." "I would," I said. "Because she deserves to know the truth. And because I'm done protecting you from the consequences of your choices." The divorce took 6 months. Mark fought me on everything, the house, the money, even the furniture. But Lauren was as good as advertised, and the evidence was damning. Text messages. Hotel receipts. A paper trail of lies that even his expensive lawyer couldn't explain away. In the end, I got the house, half his retirement, a significant portion of the brokerage account, and alimony for 5 years. Enough to rebuild. Enough to start over. Natalie left the company 2 months into the proceedings. I heard through mutual friends that she'd taken a job in California. Mark looked 10 years older every time I saw him at mediation, his hair graying at the temples, his suits hanging looser. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No sadness. Just nothing. Sophie took it hard. She'd always been a daddy's girl, and learning what he'd done broke something in her. She didn't speak to him for months. I didn't push her either way. This was her pain to process, her relationship to navigate. "How are you so calm about all this?" she asked me once, over wine at my new apartment in Rye. I'd downsized, traded the big house for a 2-bedroom with a balcony and a view of the water. "I'm not calm," I said. "I'm just done being angry. Anger is exhausting, baby. And I'm tired of being exhausted." She studied me with those serious brown eyes she'd gotten from my mother. "Do you still love him?" "I love who I thought he was," I said. "But that person doesn't exist. Maybe never did." A year after the divorce was finalized, I got a text from Mark. "I know I have no right to ask, but can we talk?" I almost deleted it. Almost blocked his number and moved on with my life. But curiosity won. We met at a coffee shop in Scarsdale, neutral territory. He looked smaller somehow, diminished in a way that had nothing to do with weight. "I wanted to apologize," he said. "Really apologize. Not the excuses I gave you before. Just, I'm sorry, Vivian. For all of it." I stirred my latte. "Okay. That's it? Okay? What do you want me to say, Mark? That I forgive you? That it's all water under the bridge?" I shook my head. "I don't forgive you. Maybe someday I will, but not today. You broke something in me that I'm still trying to fix." "I know." His voice cracked. "Natalie and I aren't together, if you're wondering. She was just an escape from everything I was too afraid to face." "I don't care," I said, and meant it. "Your life isn't my concern anymore. Sophie told me you're seeing someone." I smiled. His name was Daniel, and he was a high school art teacher with kind eyes and a laugh that made me feel young. It wasn't serious yet, might never be, but it was mine. Something new and untainted by the wreckage of my marriage. I said. "Good." Mark looked down at his coffee. "You deserve to be happy." "I know I do," I said. "That's the difference now. I know my worth." I think about that moment at the airport sometimes. The fluorescent lights. The agent's careful voice. The way my entire world shifted in the space between one heartbeat and the next. People ask me if I regret how I handled it. If I wish I'd tried to save the marriage, gone to counseling, given him a second chance. The answer is no, because here's what I learned. Betrayal doesn't start with an affair. It starts with all the small ways we allow ourselves to be diminished. The times we stay quiet when we should speak up. The moments we accept less than we deserve because we're afraid of being alone. I'd been betraying myself long before Mark betrayed me. I'd made myself smaller, quieter, more convenient. I'd turned myself into the kind of woman a man could cheat on and expect to get away with it, but that woman died in the Delta terminal, the woman who walked away, who hired the lawyer, who fought for what was hers, who rebuilt her life from the rubble. She's someone I'm proud to be. I'm Vivian Calloway. I'm 53 now. I have gray in my hair. I don't bother to dye anymore. I have laugh lines and stretch marks and a body that's carried life in grief and joy. I have a daughter who calls me her hero. I have a small apartment I decorated myself with art I actually like, not pieces chosen to match furniture. I have myself. Finally, completely, unapologetically, and that's worth more than any marriage ever was. To the women out there who are sitting in airports or driveways or kitchen floors, holding phones with evidence of betrayal they don't want to believe, I see you. I was you. And I'm here to tell you that the pain doesn't last forever. The anger fades. The tears dry up. What remains is you. And you are enough. You always were. Walk away. Take what's yours. Rebuild. You deserve a life where you never have to wonder who he booked the second ticket for. You deserve a life where you're always the first choice, and if the man you married can't give you that, then he doesn't deserve you. Trust me. I learned it the hard way, but I learned it.